is the Bush Whisperer coming from the pancake place where my little boy loves to eat his pancakes before school. I'm thinking about peace. And the best way to talk about peace is through an allegory. I spent much of my life living in the wild, big chunks of my life. Shall we say years of my life I spent in the wild. I lived in the jungles barefoot. I lived in deserts. I lived in the Himalayas. Spent a few years living in the Himalayas. Spent much of my life, as I say, big chunk of my life. And even other times when I didn't live completely in the wild, I lived in the ashrams, which were quite close to the wild, on the edge of the wild from time to time. And what I noticed when I went into the jungles, when I was in the true wild, far away from all civilization, was that peace was a very upsetting emotion. It was very disturbing for me to realize that peace wasn't what it was cut out to be, as I had believed it to be. I thought peace was going to be this wonderful sense of tranquility. But when I met peace head on, I realized it was an upsetting emotion, and those upsetting emotions were because I had never really truly experienced peace before. And in a state of total peace and quiet and harmony where there was nothing around me but nature, the wind, animals, birds, crickets, bears, and animals that make noises, I realized that there was nowhere to put my thoughts. There was nothing to do with my mind. And that peace itself is a very disabling emotion when you get right down to it, because it takes away one's habitual thinking processes, and it takes away one's proverbial toys that one has gotten used to entertaining one's mind with, and it forces one to actually acknowledge what is true. So it is when we're subjected to a total intensity of peace. Peace is wonderful for a little while, but after a while it becomes very intense. And it becomes so intense that it upsets one to the point that one is forced to recalibrate one's inner state in order to be more in harmony with the state around oneself. And this was the lesson of being in the wild that I had to embrace personally. And so what can we take from this? What can I take from this? Well, my realization of peace is that peace is when we recognize that we are disassociated from the world. And I think most of us live in a disassociated state, that we're not fully integrated. We are not bringing the inner child into being. We are not experiencing the joy of life as a normal, total state of being and as a habit. We are not expressing the total truth of our feelings and the total truth of who we are all the time. And it's only when we learn to do this that we can actually truly appreciate what peace is. That peace is becoming in tune with harmony, and harmony is the natural state of being. And this is why we need our phones and our televisions and our TV series and our films and our music and our art to distract us from ourselves for long enough that we can have a small moment of peace. And it seems that we only are able to digest bite-sized chunks of peace because of the way we live, the busy lifestyles, the intensity of the thoughts that we tend to appreciate from day to day, and the expectations that we place upon life, which is generally what causes us to become disassociated, unhappy, stressed, and in a state of disharmony, because we are having an inner idea of what we expect the world to be, and the world isn't always going to live up to our expectations. And peace is when we are totally free of all of these ideas, totally free of the expectations of what we think we are, what we expect life to be, and how we expect the world to treat us. Because the world is what it is. We are what we are. And the moment we can accept who we are, the world as it is, and life for what it is, we are in a state of inner peace. This is the Bush Whisperer, sharing a few moments of heartfelt wisdom. Take it easy, keep it real, keep it sweet. Bam Shiva.